In this edition of RIN TV, Aon Benefield reports on natural catastrophes in June. A.M.Best says impairments are on the rise. And Dr. Hartwig from the Insurance Information Institute highlights the industry giving back. All this and more, you're watching World Risk and Insurance News on RIN TV. Hello, I'm Marisa Christian, and here's what's happening in the world of insurance. According to Aon Benefield's Global Cat Recap report, severe weather in the U.S. cost nearly $2 billion in June, mostly from hailstorms and wildfires. Flooding was the cause of major losses in other parts of North America, Europe, Asia, and North Africa. Meanwhile, the Association of British Insurers says recent flooding in the UK in the last week alone is expected to cost tens of millions of pounds, and more is expected. All this in the hurricane season is just underway. According to A.M.Best, P&C insurers experienced a precipitous jump in financial impairments in 2011. In its first Monday series, A.M.Best analysts discussed the alarming trend and how the rating agency goes about assessing impairments.
Property casualty companies that became financially impaired in 2011. That represented a pretty significant jump over 2010.
It also is in stark contrast to the experience of the life health industry, where there were only 2 impairments. So you can see it's been an unusual year, even in terms of the past 3 years' trends. Driving the impairments in the last 3-4 years have been the weak state of the economy and particularly the bust in the real estate market.
But surprisingly, the catastrophe losses, which have been, extremely high, 2010-11, did not play a material role in impairments.
We, in our process, focus on cat losses because it's a significant shock to a company's balance sheet. You could lose a lot of surplus. The interesting point, it's not cats, it's not just reserve development, it's not investment markets. It's the confluence of all those coming together, and that's a big part of our enterprise risk management approach, is to look at the risks as they aggregate and see if companies understand what they've got on their balance sheet or what potential exposure they have in the balance sheet. Because many of the companies that become impaired, they don't realize they've got a little bit here, a little bit here, and a little bit here. And when you aggregate those items together, it's that significant loss to the balance sheet that causes many impairments.
We'd like to thank A.M.Best for their contribution. If you'd like to see more of A.M.Best's report on impairments or the other segments in this month's First Monday, including a look at the Eurozone crisis and Asian life market, visit our on-demand library or ambest.com. Many companies in the insurance industry support programs that give back to local communities. In its recent impact report, the Insurance Information Institute highlights such programs. Here to discuss it with us once again by phone is Dr. Robert Hartwig, president of the III. Dr. Hartwig, thank you for joining us again.
Hey, glad to be here.
So, Dr. Hartwig, why does the Insurance Information Institute publish this report?
Well, the Insurance Information Institute publishes its impact report several times a year in order to document the insurance industry's contributions to community development, which often go unsung. And in fact, insurance industry charitable contributions total some $500 million a year all across the country. But in addition to that, there's a lot of good work by thousands and thousands of industry employees who give their own time, money, and effort in order to improve the communities in which they live. And so the industry is a very generous one. We do a lot more than just pay claims. And so the effort with Impact is to take a look at insurers across the country and look at what kind of great things they're doing in their local communities.
What charitable programs are featured in this issue?
Every issue in Impact, we take a look at the efforts of individual companies and their individual contributions to their community. So, for instance, we look at Zurich's 100 Ways campaign, which is designed to help the company's 10,000 employees in North America to help them serve organizations like the Red Cross or Habitat for Humanity or the United Way. We also look at Fireman's Fund, and true to its name, has a long-standing support for the firefighting community. So we document a grant that they provided to the St. Louis Fire Department to help buy equipment that would allow firefighters to safely exit the upper floors of a burning building if they become trapped and therefore save their lives. We also document the Hartford's Ready When the Time Comes program. This helps ensure communities so that they have adequate volunteer resources in order to help them respond to emergencies, something that was very important in some place like Connecticut, where the Hartford is headquartered in the wake of the many disasters they've had recently, particularly Hurricane Irene. We also take a look at Travelers, which has a program that helps urban students get the right kind of education and mentoring and financial aid that helps them get through college and ultimately be a success in the workplace, including in the insurance industry. And then, of course, we take a look at other issues, such as a program by Allstate, and one program that they have, which is to reduce domestic violence. So we see such an enormous variety in terms of the number of programs. There's an enormous amount of need in this country, and insurers who are there to help in people's time of greatest need when they have a claim after a catastrophe are also there day in and day out, supporting through their charitable deeds both time, hours, and money to help their local communities.
So what's the message you're hoping to get out through the Impact Report?
You know, the message we want to get out is that insurers aren't just about paying claims after a disaster. Okay, insurers are out there every day in every community. We're literally on almost every street corner in America. And so we'll be there after a disaster, yes, to pay the claim, but longer run, when homes need to be rebuilt for the poor. We're going to be there longer run to help promote environmental concerns in communities. We're going to be there longer run to help fire departments and police departments day in and day out to help save lives and help to response times. And to help individual families with issues, as I mentioned, such as domestic violence, that might be off the radar scope of what people might think that insurers would be concerned about. So there's literally no limit to the need out there, but fortunately the industry is a very large and generous industry, and it's one who's giving, and the effort in terms of its employees, the dollars coming from companies increases every year.
It's a terrific report, Dr. Hartwig.
It's very much my pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to see more of my discussion with Dr. Hartwig, including details of the programs featured in the III's Impact Report, visit our on-demand library. That's all for now. I'm Marisa Christian. Join us next time for more world risk and insurance news on RIN TV.